Hey everyone, and welcome to today's Explainer. If you've ever felt just completely exhausted by the modern hustle, that constant, relentless pressure to achieve, to stand out, to build a legacy, well, the philosophy we're unpacking today is going to completely flip your perspective. We're diving into a really fascinating and honestly, a genuinely radical text titled How to Realize the Value of Life. This comes straight from Yunzi Sheming Chanyan, or in English, Guide Shuifeng, the founder of Life Chanyan. It's a philosophy that looks at our deeply ingrained everyday ambitions and basically asks us, what if we've actually got this whole thing backwards?
So, to kick things off, I want you to think about this. Are your ambitions actually bringing you harmony, or are you just building a bigger warehouse for your worms? Now, I know that sounds like a super strange question right now, but trust me, by the end of this explainer, looking at your 5-year plan through this specific lens might just completely change how you see your daily grind.
All right, Section 1, the value of life. Let's look at why we're actually here.
Let's start right at the absolute foundation. Guide Shuifeng kicks off the text by fundamentally redefining human worth. According to Shuifeng, literally everything in the universe has value. There is zero waste. But here's the catch. Human value isn't something you build or invent or conquer. It's something you simply realize. And the path to realizing this value is called the Tao of nature. Basically, it means observing and complying with natural rhythms to please what the text calls the greatest creator. It's all about submission to a path that already exists, rather than, hacking your way through the jungle trying to make your own.
Moving on to Section 2, the way of nature. This is all about effortless compliance.
To really grasp what Shuifeng means by effortless compliance, let's look at how the rest of the natural world handles its business. Notice how perfectly these things achieve their purpose. A fruit tree doesn't wake up stressing over its career trajectory, right? It just bears fruit. A hen lays eggs. The earth realizes its immense value of supporting life simply by spinning around the sun. They hit their ultimate purpose without any strain, just by existing exactly as they were intended to. They comply completely with the way of nature.
And what's brilliant is how Shuifeng applies that exact same effortless natural rhythm to a human lifespan. As a person, your only real job is to let each phase unfold totally organically. In childhood, you're meant to live out excitement. In youth, charm. At middle age, style. And in old age, calm restraint. When everything just flows naturally, without you forcing it, that is how you realize your true value as a human.
Which, of course, leads us to a pretty obvious question. If trees, hens, and literal planets follow nature so seemingly, where do we go wrong? Why aren't humans just peacefully bearing our metaphorical fruit? Well, let's see how this builds into Shuifeng's core critique.
Section 3, the unnatural human. Here's where we start diverging from the path.
Guide Shuifeng argues that humans uniquely stray from the Tao of nature because of what the text calls lures from devils and demons, and this creates some highly unnatural behaviors. Listen to this quote, "To achieve a career is against the principles of nature. To honor one's ancestors, to bring glory to the state are all against the principles of nature." Wow, that is a radically different stance. In almost every secular society on Earth, having a great career or bringing glory to your family is seen as the absolute pinnacle of success. But Life Chanyuan's philosophy argues that striving to live high above others or win admiration is actually a breach of natural principles. It's a completely unnatural pressure we force onto ourselves.
Let's dig into Section 4, the illusion of success and secular ambitions.
This takes us even deeper into the text's critique of modern society and what we universally label as success. Now, some of the unnatural practices Shuifeng lists are exactly what you'd expect. Pursuing extreme wealth, buying multiple villas, hoarding clothes, seeking fame. But look at what else is included impartially right alongside them. Having a fixed, lifetime spouse, or even forcing strict vegetarian diets. According to Life Chanyuan, any practice where you quit performing useful functions just to live in luxury, or inversely, where you force rigid restrictions on yourself out of pride, is considered a major departure from the natural way.
So, if we summarize the rule tying all that together, it's really all about excess and suppression. The desire to acquire more than our natural needs require is a departure from the way of nature. And furthermore, Shuifeng warns that suppressing our true natural instincts just to hit some secular goal isn't success at all. In this philosophy, doing that is literally considered the greed and desire of devils. And the text uses this sticky little metaphor to illustrate the concept perfectly: the story of the two birds. On the one side, we have the natural bird. It flies in the forest, twitters cheerfully, eats what it needs for the day, and just trusts tomorrow. Zero worry. Totally in line with nature. But then, imagine an unnatural bird. It works all day long catching insects, not to eat them, but to build a massive warehouse to hoard worms, just constantly stressing out about the future. Xu uses this to mirror modern capitalism perfectly. When we hoard wealth and frantically chase material stuff, we are literally that unnatural bird, stressing over a giant warehouse of worms.
Section 5, Returning to Nature. Let's look at the proposed modern solution. Okay, so if secular ambition is exhausting us and pushing us away from our true value, how do we actually fix it? Well, the text states that returning to nature is the strongest requirement of our modern time, and the instruction he gives is wonderfully poetic. Meld yourself as drops of water dew in rivers and seas, blend yourself like a tree in the forest. To achieve the value of life, Xu argues you shouldn't nurture wild ambitions. Stop trying to rise above everyone else. You actually must dare to be ordinary. Be like a single flower blossoming perfectly in tune with thousands of other flowers. You realize your value by blending in, not by exhausting yourself fighting to stand out.
And how do you know if you're actually pulling this off? Guide Xu provides a super clear binary test. You don't measure your value by your bank account, you measure it entirely by your impact. If your existence brings harmony, entertainment, and blessings to others and to nature, boom, you have realized your value. But if you bring trouble, pain, and harm to society and nature, you've failed to achieve your value. It really is that straightforward.
So for those who successfully reject the secular hustle, who stop hoarding their metaphorical worms, and who return to the Tao of nature, the text outlines an ultimate spiritual payoff. By fully experiencing what we are bestowed, without trying to force it or transform it, Xu explains that these people will enjoy the favor of the greatest creator, and their ultimate reward will be found in their homeland of heaven.
Which brings us right back to our final thought. The core tenet of Guy Xu text is that we absolutely have to stop trying to endlessly hack, optimize, and conquer our own lives. So, looking at your own daily routine, I'll leave you with this to ponder. Are you exhausting yourself trying to transform nature? Or are you finally ready to just comply with it? Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and I will catch you on the next one.